JV! You can do it! You can do it! Alright! Alright! Hello, Thrive Church. Welcome to Small Group. I am Charlene, and this is my very athletic husband, your pastor, JV. And you're probably wondering, why are we greeting you guys from the track today? And it's because today we want to be talking to you about discipline. As you'll probably recall, in the last week or so, we've been looking at Proverbs. And in Proverbs, there are all these different scriptures talking about self-discipline. For example, it talks about what we shouldn't crave. We shouldn't crave delicacy. It talks about how much we should get drunk. Or it talks about how much we should be sleeping. And those are just a few of the many examples in Proverbs, throughout the Bible actually, talking about self-discipline. And why is self-discipline so important? I'm going to tell you guys a little story. So these past few weeks, we've actually been taking Bradley to a little baby gym every single morning at our local community center. And so Bradley will go there and he will, stand and he will crawl, and we're just waiting for the day when he starts walking and running. And while Bradley is hanging out in the gym, I will usually go next door and I will go for an aerobics class. And last week, if you saw me in service, I don't know if you noticed, but I had a little bit of a funny walk. And it wasn't because I was wearing the wrong shoe, but it was actually because my legs were in a lot of pain. They were in a ton of pain, and during worship, I had a bit of a hard time lifting my hands in worship. And it's because my muscle, in my shoulder, was also in a lot of pain, and it was hard for me to lift my hands. And all this pain from exercise is actually because I have not been disciplined about exercising ever since Bradley was born over a year ago. And so I'm going to share with you a verse today, actually, from the book of 1 Corinthians 9:25 to 27. And this is Paul talking. He says, "All athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it to win a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should do. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I might be disqualified." And just like an athlete who needs regular discipline and training for a race, we as Christians also need to be disciplined in our spiritual workout so that we can fulfill the destiny that God has for us. And when we're not disciplined in our spiritual workout, this is kind of what happens. Sometimes we'll become really impatient with people around us, or sometimes we'll become very easily irritable, or when there's a big exam, or when there's something happening at work, we become really stressed easily. And it's really difficult for us to go through life without a good discipline in our spiritual workout. So I'm going to leave you today with one more passage from Hebrews 12:11, and it says this: "No discipline is enjoyable while it is happening. It is painful, but afterwards there will be a peaceful harvest for those who are trained in it."
There was a famous pastor, Henry Newman, who once said that in your spiritual life, discipline is not being legalistic. It's not about following rules just for the sake of following rules or to show how good you are. But discipline is really about making room for God to work in your life. If you keep cluttering your life and filling your life with all these other things without discipline, God will be pushed out, and He won't have room to work in you and through you. And in particular, there are three areas that we want to encourage you to develop discipline. One is in the area of solitude. Solitude means that you go out and you go to be alone with God. Develop your relationship with Him. It's about just going out and getting alone with God. There's a second one, which is community. It's about getting together with other believers to encourage one another. This is also known as the church. There's a third area, which is ministry. It's using your time, using your talents, using the opportunities that God gives you to serve others and help others. And when we are disciplined in these three areas of our lives, we make room for God to work in our lives. On the other hand, when we're not disciplined in these three areas, we give God no room to work, and we end up being more full of ourselves and less of God. And you're going to find this, is that if you have all the resources in the world, all the churches that you could possibly want to go to, all at your, right within, driving distance of you, you can have, all these Bibles in your house, like 14, 15 different translations. You can have all these books in your house from Christian authors. But if you don't have the discipline to actually be in solitude, to be in community, and to be in ministry, you're going to find that your life will become more and more self-centered. When you think about your spiritual life, when you think about church, you're going to think, instead of thinking, how can I live with others and live with Christ, you're going to be thinking more about, what have I gotten out of church lately? Or what can I get out of church? What have others done for me lately? And so it just goes to show that, you don't have to be very disciplined to be a consumer in the church. Someone who's just all about, what can I get? What can I get? What can people give me? You don't need to be really disciplined to be a critic in the church. Someone who complains and criticizes everything they don't really like. But you need discipline if you want to be a disciple. In fact, you can't be a disciple without discipline. And that's why it's no wonder that discipline and disciple, they actually come from the same root word. And so here in small group tonight, we want to encourage you guys to pray about 3 areas where we can be more disciplined. 1 is in the area of solitude, 2 is in the area of community, and 3 is in the area of ministry. How disciplined are you? So we're going to leave that with you, a question to think about as you go into small groups. We're going to pray that we're more disciplined. We're going to pray that you guys are also more disciplined. And here's believing that the best is yet to come. Have a great time in small groups, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
See you next time.